Hello, today we will be talking about coterminal angles. Before we get started, let's review what a coterminal angle or what they are. So, an angle is said to be in standard position if it is drawn on the Cartesian XY plane. And here's an example of our Cartesian XY plane. And on the position positive x-axis and turning counterclockwise. So if you think about a clock, so here I have my Cartesian or my XY plane. And if you think about a clock, clocks normally move in this direction. Well, counterclockwise would be going in the opposite direction a clock would move in. So as you can see, this is my initial side and it opens up in this opposite direction. Opposite of a clock would go, so it's counterclockwise. It says the initial side of the angle is the ray where the measurement of the angle starts. And the terminal side is where the angle measurement ends. Coterminal angles are angles which when drawn at the same standard position share a terminal side. So, and they have some examples, 30, 330, and negative 330 and 390 are all coterminal. So basically, I'm just using the fact that I have this 360 degree circle. And so here, if I have 30, if I want to take this angle and make it go all the way back around, back up to here, that would give me that 390 degrees. If I take it and go the opposite direction, so starting here and moving a negative 360, I have a negative 330 degree angle instead. So basically the formula says that we can add 360 when we're dealing in degrees or 2 pi when we're dealing in radians. And any multiple of 360 is going to be able to give me coterminal angles or any multiple of 2 pi. Okay, so let's do some examples now. All right, so it says determine if the following pairs of angles are coterminal. So remember, when we're dealing with degrees, we're dealing with multiples of 360. So if I start off with this 10, if I add 360 to it, what does that give me? Well, it does in fact give me 370. So that means that they are 10 and 370 are coterminal. All right, so let's look at the next one, negative 520. So knowing what I know about adding and subtracting integers, I know that I'm probably going to add 360 to this again and see what value I get. So let's add 360. I get negative 160, which is not 200. Well, and it's not even positive yet. So maybe I need to add 360 again. So maybe instead I should have added 360 times 2. Or just keep adding 360. So I'm going to add 360 again. And I do get 200. So that means that negative 520 and 200 are coterminal. I mean, yes, they're coterminal. And then last but not least, we have negative 60 and negative 600. So again, I can do the same process of just adding 360. So negative 600 plus 360, get negative 240, which is not negative 60. So I'm going to add I'm going to add 360 again. And I get 120. So, of course, there's multiple ways you can do this. This one is not coterminal. There's multiple ways you can do this. I don't have to go through this process. I can subtract these numbers from each other. I can add these numbers to each other and see if it's a multiple of 360. So for example, if I subtract 10 degrees from 370 degrees, I will get 360. So that value is a multiple of 360. It is 360 actually. If I add negative 520 plus 200, I get negative 320, which is not as easy to see that it's a multiple of 360. So it's basically whichever method best works for you. So let's go on. All right, so let's look at some more examples. It says, what is the first positive coterminal angle with 96? Well, I know I just need to add 360 to 96. So that's 96 plus 360. I know if I subtract 360, then it's going to give me a negative number. I don't want to subtract it, so I'm going to add it instead. I get 456. Then it says, what is the first negative angle coterminal with 96 degrees? Well, I want to subtract it this time. I want it to be negative. Oops. Sorry. So 96 degrees minus 360. Get negative 246. 264, excuse me. Negative 264. Then it says, what quadrant does the terminal side lie in for angle 920? Okay, so going back to that first picture that I have, remember where the terminal side is. It's the side that sticks up. I put a picture here of a 360 degree angle, of a 360 degree unit circle. So I know that 920 is not in that. So I need to subtract 360 until I get to something that's inside of here so I can see which quadrant it's in. So that's 960, but 920 minus 360. First time I get 560. That's not enough, so I'm going to subtract 360 one more time, and I get 200. So basically 360 times 2, and it gives me 200. All right, so let's look for where 200 is on my unit circle here. So I have 180, so 200 is right here. So this is quadrant 1, 2, 3. So that means that this is in quadrant 3. All right. Then it says, what quadrant does the terminal side lie for an angle of negative 1100? Same process. I'm going to add 360 until I get somewhere in the actual unit circle. So this time I'm going to add 360. Multiples of 360, right? So the first time I get negative 740. The second time I get negative 380. The third time I get negative 20. We're getting closer. And the fourth, I think this was the fourth time, I get 340. So again, I'm going to go over to my unit circle and look for where it is. It is over in this region, and this is my fourth quadrant. So this is quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is in quadrant 4. All right. Last few, because we haven't done any in radian form. So we have to, make sure we know how to do it both ways. It says, what is the first positive angle excuse me. What is the first positive angle coterminal with pi over 6? And so we know we need to add 2 pi. So I have pi over 6 plus 2 pi. Okay, so can't add it the way it is. I know that I need a denominator here of 6, so I'm going to multiply the bottom times 6 and my top times 6, which gives me 12, and I get 13 pi over 6. All right, the next one, what is the first negative angle coterminal with pi over 6? So again, this time I'm going to subtract. So pi over 6, and I already know I'm going to subtract 12 pi over 6, which gives me negative 11 pi over 6. Then it says, are the following angles coterminal? So I have pi over 3 and 19 pi over 3. So I'm just going to take that pi over 3 and add it to 2 pi to see if it comes out to be 19 pi. All right, so I know that the bottom I need to multiply by 3. The top I need to multiply by 3, and it's going to turn into a 6. So I have pi over 3 plus 6 pi over 3, which is same as 2 pi. So we know that 12 pi over 6 is equal to 2 pi, and 6 pi over 3 equals 2 pi. Just have to write it in a different form so that I can add my fractions, and I get 7 pi over 3. Okay, that didn't come up to 19. I'm going to add another one. So I add another 6 pi over 3. And I get 13 pi over 3. Didn't get to 19. I haven't even passed it yet, so I can add one more. So I'm going to come up here. Excuse me, I have 13 pi over 3 plus 6 pi over 3. And that is, in fact, 19 pi over 3. So they are coterminal with each other. And I hope that this helps.